calming breeze brushes across the countryside of Hogari-Minami in Miyagi, Sendai. A white sedan turns into a street, then slowly comes up into a driveway of a two-story brick house. It stops and parks behind a gray Mitsuha Charger muscle car. The driver, future Prime Minister McIntyre, turns off the engine and takes the keys out of the ignition. He turns to his left, seeing his brother Zanoff looking back at him. "Why did you drag me all the way here to Japan?" "Well, you wanted to speak to someone who knows of the prophecy, did you not?" "Yes, but there is not anyone who knows that we are here. Except for Alistair, but please do not mention that bastard's name to me. And I am referring to those who did not come with us." Are you certain of that?" "Why are you sounding as if you know something that I do not?" "Because I do." "Okay, smart one. Enlighten me. And no hints. Can you tell me what it is?" Francis puts the keys in his right pocket. "Let's just say that when Raygon and Dragonborn banished us here, we were not the only ones that were." "Hold on. Are you telling me that there are those that did follow us?" Not exactly. She came here before we did. Very lucky that she was spared." "Come now. Do you expect me to believe all of this?" "No. But it is best to see with your own eyes. Come." Zanoff sighs as the brothers exit the sedan. He looks up at the house and can see some of the clothing fluttering in the wind on a clothesline. He and McIntyre walks over the tiled rocks, then steps up onto the front porch. "If you think that this will surprise me, then you are setting yourself up for disappointment." "I would not be so certain of that." Francis reaches his arm out and rings the doorbell. He steps back and stands next to his cross-armed, skeptical brother. "Well, this better be good." They hear the door being unlocked. Then it opens. A non-Japanese woman in traditional Japanese women's clothing reveals herself and looks at the brothers. Zanoff, almost instantly, uncrosses his arms and his mood goes from skeptical to shock. "What?" A portal opens in an alley. Anti-skill officers, two in power suits, Lieutenant Yumikawa and the dark green ponytailed-haired Suzuri Tenzo looks behind them as San, Uiho, and Index exits out and it closes. Oh, God! The anti-skill officers rushes over to them. What are you girls doing here?" The three picks themselves up, but the feeling of shock and overwhelming emotions takes over Ruiko and Kazuri. "What the Raygon? Mizora? Another dimension?" "Wait, what?" Uiho grabs on the Index's shoulders. "Please, tell us, sister. Is it true?" "It's true." "Hold on, slow down. Where did you three come from and what is going on?" "Okay, here's the real truth. Godzilla angrily roars at the fleeing Bagan, calling it a coward for not facing him. His skin regenerates, and his mind drifts back to the fight that he just had with it. To him, it doesn't seem that it is stronger than him, but somehow, he knows what lies within it. Then, his mind and attention turns to something else. He turns his head to the left and looks behind him with his left eye. He spots the humans standing on the Shipigoan Tower. Ulyclese and her nuns, the Amaxa, the saints, the Espers, and former magic god hesitates to take a step back. His eyes locks with the injured and bandaged up Mikoto Misaka. His hatred for her still remains, but his mind is now on Bagan and he still has a job to do. Francis places his hand on his chest. "Be care, Raygon." The kaiju grumbles, then turns back ahead of him. Then he walks, heading for where Bagan is heading to. All eyes turn to Francis McIntyre, or Ulyclese, as he watches Raygon walk away. He turns around to them and singles out Misaka, who is more injured than the rest. His eyes shifts to her friend. "Madame Shirai." Yes?" Toma and Mikoto are taken aback by Kuroko speaking fluent English. Francis digs into his pocket and takes out a healing syringe. He tosses it to the teleporter, and she catches it. "I believe your friend will be needing that." "Wait, is it the—" He nods his head, confirming what it is. She turns to Misaka, who looks to her. "Can you stick your arm out for me?" "Wait, hold on. What's in that thing?" The same thing that's making me walk on my own 2 feet. Trust me, I know someone who has experience. She looks to Gonzaki, causing Mikoto to look to her. The Saint of the Far East nods her head, confirming it. Misaka lowers her head. All right, do it. She sticks her right arm out. Shirai lifts up the sleeve and inserts the needle into it. Mikoto winces a little as Kuroko injects the fluid into her blood. She takes the needle out, then rolls her sleeve down. So, now what? Her body starts twitching, causing her to stop talking. Her bone starts cracking. She collapses to her knees, clenching her left arm. Shirai turns to Francis. What did you do? Give it a moment. The bone stops cracking, and Misaka's body starts relaxing. The girl herself pops to her feet, furious. Hey! What the hell did you do to me? Her realization that she can walk on her own 2 feet once more surprises her. She lifts her left arm. No pain. She shakes and stomps her right foot. No pain. She reaches and rips the bandages from her forehead and rips the cast off. Ulyclese smiles, but everyone else becomes stunned. Holy crap! Does anyone have a mirror? Itoa pulls out a 12-inch mirror from her jacket pocket. She hands it to the young girl, and Mikoto looks into her reflection. No blood, no bruise. Her body is fully healed. I'm fine. What the? I did tell you, Madam Shirai, that I do have fast-acting ones, and I am making good on that promise. Now I wish you brought them sooner. Misaka lifts her hair where the cut is. Fortunately, it is healed. Unfortunately, in its place is a visible scar. Well, I can live with this. She sees Francis in the reflection. Her mood turns from joy and shock to content and fury. She tosses the mirror back to Itsuwa and turns around to him. Her smile fades as her hands becomes fists. Start explaining. Francis takes in a calm, deep breath. Very well, but I must perform something first. He turns his head to the right, turns to the left, then back at her. I feel as though this should be easier for everyone to understand. Molingu, Bonamzi, Maina. Green aura surrounds everyone except for Ulyclese. But as soon as it appears, it disappears. They all look at each other, then back at the man. What did you... A multilingual spell, one that the sorcerers are not aware of. Now, it will be easier to not only speak your native language, but speak other languages in this world much more fluently. He words, this world. He closes his eyes. What you heard from my brother Zanoff is true. Godzilla is, indeed, from another dimension. He opens his eyes once more. His alternate name is Raygon III, and he is not the only one. Zanoff, Mizora, Bagan, and myself are from the same dimension that he came from. Misaka crosses her arms. X7A-U4Y is our home dimension. It is similar to this realm's Earth, but it is filled with giant monsters and superpowered humans known as the Mukon. While the former is rejected, the latter is accepted into human society. But the Mukon has its origins in two ancient cities, Mu and Atlantis. Zanoff and I are Atlanteans. 25 years after our birth, both civilizations were at war. They created monsters, so did we. Zora, along with two others, were our first, but they betrayed us for a greater and worse entity. And so, we decided to create three more, and we made certainty that they would not betray us. Raygon I, the third's grandfather, was one of the new three that terribly defeated and humiliated Mizora and banished it to this dimension. And even when Zanoff and I created Mizora, and I myself created Raygon I, he and Dragonborn banished us to this realm as well, as a form of punishment. Enraged, Mizora vented on the Irish population. Unfortunately, my own flesh and blood had become consumed by rage, sadness, fear, and revenge that led to everything that happened on Christmas Day, with everything else that happened following suit. They all listened to every word that he said. They don't believe it at first, but they know that he is not being dishonest in what he says. even so, they are still furious at him, including Misaka herself. So, let me understand this. You and that guy, Zanoff, created that first kaiju, Bagan, or Mizora. It turned against you, so you created the first Godzilla, and he beat it so badly that he sent it and you two here? In essence, yes. Great. Great. All of our lives were starting to become normal again after so much bullshit. But then, everything that you went through for years in your own dimension is starting to spill over into our lives. Thanks a lot! Ulyclese's face turns from expressionless to fury. It seems to me that you are not paying attention to what I just said. What? Do you really believe in your own lies? And do you honestly think that I wanted all of this to happen in the first place? When I said everything that led up to Christmas Day, I mean it for you and the rest of you as well. What the hell did we do? Do not act so blind and arrogant as to what happened in the past 6 months. I know what happened in and outside of Academy City. Indeed, I am very aware of what all of you have been doing. He turns his attention to those around him. Horrendous atrocities committed by the Amoxa, Anglican, Catholic, and Orthodox churches that includes the purge that led to the unfortunate death of my sister-in-law. Poltergeist, Montgomery destroying Academy City's satellite, the loss of Kamijo's memories, the World War, the Magic Gods, Alistair and his daughter. His furious eyes darts to Mikoto. Even Project Radio Noise. Misaka's angry expression gives way to shock. Yes, indeed. I know how it began, how it proceeded. He turns to Kamijo behind him. And how it ended, with the after effects that are still ongoing with no end in sight. The boy looks away from him at his feet. Francis turns back to Misaka. Everyone here has been involved in those events, either as an order under the punishment of persecution or death, or of their own volition. He slowly walks forward to her. Every single event that happened was a catalyst for Mizora's reawakening, and because of that, Zanoff had capitalized on that opportunity, resulting in a curse that has embedded into my fiancée. That is a personal reason why I am doing this. That is why I had to ask for help, limited as it was. However, I am taking real issue with you. He stops only inches away from her. Why me? And why did you have to drag this kaiju into this dimension? Rhaegon III chose to step into this realm. When he appeared near the cliffs of Dover, Kizaki and I were shocked because she had saw and knew of him beforehand. But I immediately knew why. Rhaegon knew of Mizora when he found Atlantis and had seen one of the prophecies linked to it. He made a decision to come here to finish what his grandfather started. He knew then that he was not strong and powerful enough, but from what we have seen, he is able to stand toe-to-toe against it. He points his finger into her face. Rhaegon III does not care for any human, and I advised you on the day that we met to leave him be, because if I told you everything, you would have killed me on the spot. Not only did you not heed my warning and chose to ignore my advice, it resulted in thousands of lives being taken away. He points his finger towards Tokyo Bay. And it resulted in something that even we did not expect. He then points to his right. Everyone's eyes looks towards that direction. The smoldering, flaming, destroyed Academy City is in their sights. The feeling of shock and guilt hits Misaka like a sledgehammer. What? You what? You thought you could be praised for being the hero when you decided to have your revenge at the wrong place and wrong time when over 1 million people are already dead by my brother's Air Force? No! She collapses to her knees, placing her right hand on her mouth and gasping for air. Ulyclese turns his attention to the others. In all of my years living in this dimension, I have never seen humanism rot the brains of everyone here. I am no better, but you are much worse than I thought. This is the result of all of you going into something that is out of your league of what you are used to. This is no longer a matter of right and wrong, magic versus science. This has gone completely beyond that. And I know I'm putting the blame on all of you, but like I said, I am no better for what I did. I know that. But we should all bear the blame for what we did, including you as well, Misaka. He kneels down to her, lifting up her chin, making her look at him. Everyone else knows, but you do not, of what is going on and what the stakes are. When Kamajo refused to give Montgomery to Zanoff, he was given the promise that everything and everyone will be taken away from him, regardless if he lives or not. That includes you as well. And you may think that all of this was the doing of some higher-up like Alistair or Laura. I am here to confirm that even they did not know what was going to happen. That is the unpredictability of my brother that you and everyone else here are still underestimating. Laura Stewart found out firsthand and paid the price. She lives, but she will never forget. We did not want to tell you, Misaka, because you would have found a way to die much quicker by Zanoff. We are very lucky to have survived for this long. But like I said, because of all of our actions, including yours, this is the result of our efforts. Death, destruction, and a never-ending feeling of fear and dread. He lets go of her chin and stands up straight. His rage-filled eyes darts to the sorcerers and Shirai, some of whom refuses to look into his eyes. He looks behind him, and Kamajo, Kinzaki, and Othenis are the same way. He looks to Academy sitting in the distance, and Godzilla heading towards it. He closes his eyes and takes in a deep breath coming down from his rage. I am very sorry that I snapped on all of you. It is hard to hold back all of these emotions. And with everything that all of you have done, has set me over the edge, as you would say. He turns back to all of them. In these past few days, I have grown to love and care for all of you. You are all very important to me now. So no matter how many times you screw up, I want you to know that I will always be there to help you. A sense of relief enters everyone's minds. Then, Francis' mood turns back serious. Now then, on to the pressing matter at hand. Like I said, Raygon III is here to finish what his grandfather left off, and that is killing Mizora. Right now, over 1 million people are dead in Academy City. However, the other 1 million are still alive and they need to be saved. But I cannot do it alone. I present to you your options. Option A, continue on this path and march off to your death. Option B, assist the entity who is willing to help without dying. Or option C, if you choose neither, then stay out of the way. I cannot force this decision upon you. That is for all of you to decide. Time is of the essence, so make the choice. 3 options, but with all having different outcomes. Time is short, and they need to make the decision. Option B. Everyone looks to the red-haired boy puffing smoke from his mouth. I needed to release some frustration on these Celts anyway. I'll join him too. Me too. Whatever the master does, we'll do it with him. Answer to choices is B. The hell. We've gone this far, we might as well go along with it. Does anyone object? Collectively, the Umaxa shouts with a resounding no, causing Kinzaki to smile. We'll do our best to keep them at bay. I'll help out as much as I can. I said the Celtics would pay, and I will see to it. I'll do it. For them. Kamajo smiles on her. He, Kinzaki, and Othenis had made their decision beforehand, but they repeat their reassurance to the Prime Minister. Ulyclese is satisfied. His attention turns back to Mikoto Misaka, who is looking down and her hair covering her eyes. Misaka? Your decision, please. Your real name is Ulyclese, right? Yes, but the name Francis remains. And you said that you're not a sorcerer, but something called a Mukon? Yes, they are divided into 3. Like you, we have Espers, but alongside them are mutants and crusaders. Zanoff and I are part of the latter, able to use our abilities through our gifted, generational, or chosen weapon, as you may have noticed. Misaka lifts her head, letting him see her eyes. So answer me this. Does Godzilla have a chance of defeating that thing? Ulyclese looks away from her to the kaiju walking further away from Shibuya. I did mention that he is able to match Mizora in power and strength. But as far as overall victory, I am not sure. It will only take one factor to tip the balance. I am sure you will figure it out once you make your decision. She turns her head, watching Godzilla get closer to the city. Everyone watches her come towards the edge and stop it. Many thoughts are going through her mind. Her hatred for him still exists. Her eyes shifts from him to the burning Academy City. Her open hands turns into fists. She quickly turns around and raises her fist. Kamajo becomes fearful if she decides to flip him off. Instead, she sticks up her index and middle fingers, telling the man that she has made her choice. Ulyclese calmly takes a deep breath. It is unanimous. He and the others hears the sound of propeller planes. They look towards the burning city and what is above it. The Celtic pelicans have arrived over the city. White spots appears one after the other. Those spots are parachutes. We must move. Protect Raygon by any means necessary. I cannot guarantee that all of you will come out in one piece, or alive. But I can give you one rule that the the mutants, use. Do not get killed, period. Godzilla stops dead in his tracks and looks up into the skies. He spots the many parachutes descending down to the ground below. He lightly bellows, knowing that killing Bagan will not be easy. Regardless, the duty needs to be done. He starts moving forward again, entering Academy City via School District 23. A grand battle is about to begin.